In this episode, Shen Kai going to find Thomas, but she bumps into Dao Ming. Dao Ming says to her, "Were you looking for me?" Shen Kai says, "Not even in my dreams." Dao Ming catches her and takes her to eat together. Shen Kai says, "I'm not hungry." Dao Ming says, "I don't care. You can't leave until you finish this." After that, Shen Kai agrees to eat and says to him, "How much was that jacket? I'll pay you." Dao Ming says, "What are you talking about? I've never asked a girl to pay me." Xinhui sees them together and tells her friend, Shen Kai is still pretending that Dao Ming is not her boyfriend. Her friend says, "She says one thing but does another. Don't believe her." At the same time, Shen Kai is eating, and Dao Ming says, "You said you weren't hungry then." Thomas calls Shen Kai. She hides and answers the call. Thomas says, "I'm near the cafe area and I'm on my way." Shen Kai yells loudly, "Don't come here, I'm on my way." Dao Ming says, "Who called you? A girl or a boy?" Shen Kai replies, "What is that to you?" and leaves. In the next scene, Thomas comes to Shen Kai and she pulls him to talk in a private place. Xinhui sees this and says to her friend, "This is the Thomas from last night, right?" Her friend replies, "1 minute ago she was eating with Dao Ming and now she's going to date Thomas." In the next scene, Shen Kai says to Thomas, "Why did you come to our school?" Thomas says, "You called me but you hung up before I could say anything, so I thought you had something important to tell me." Shen Kai says, "Did you do something wrong to me last night?" Thomas says, "Of course not. Last night you vomited a lot, so I cleaned up and let you rest, and then I left the hotel." Hearing this, Shen Kai relaxes and says, "Okay, I'm going now." Thomas stops her and says, "You put your head on my shoulder that day and said that you like me. Is that true?" Then Shen Kai remembers the scene in a flashback. She said to Thomas, "Sorry, I was confused." Now Thomas says to her, "I like you too. Do you want to go on a date with me?" Shen Kai replies, "That day I mistook you for someone else." Dao Ming sees them and says in anger, "What are you both doing? And who is this boy?" Shen Kai says, "He was just asking me for directions." Dao Ming says to Thomas, "Remember, she is my girlfriend. Don't touch her again." Thomas says, "Oh, so this pretty girl already have a boyfriend? That's so wrong." And then he leaves. After Thomas leaves, Shen Kai says to Dao Ming, "What language were you both talking in?" Dao Ming replies, "French." Shen Kai says, "What did you tell him?" Dao Ming says, "I told him that you're my girlfriend, and that's why he should stay away from you." Shen Kai says, "Why did you lie to him?" Dao Ming says, "Because he wanted to take advantage of you. How can you be so silly?" Shen Kai says, "You're the silly one. I'm not dating you. Why are you interfering in my life?" Hearing this, Dao Ming feels sad and leaves. In the next scene, everyone in the school sees Shen Kai and Thomas's photo together, and there's also a photo of Shen Kai and Dao Ming together. Everybody starts talking about how Shen Kai is double dating. In the next scene, Xinhui goes to Shen Kai and says, "You spent last night with Thomas, didn't you?" Shen Kai replies, "You both made all of this." Xinhui says, "We didn't post this photo, so don't involve us." Then Chen says to Shen Kai, "This must be a misunderstanding. Why don't you explain?" Shen Kai leaves without saying anything. In the next scene, Shen Kai goes to the same club to meet Thomas, but he is not there. On the other hand, Dao Ming is swimming. His friend Han Zilu says, "Don't you think Dao Ming is acting weird today?" Shimen says, "Shen Kai must have upset him again." Then they both see the post on their phones with Shen Kai and Thomas in it. They are both shocked. After that, Dao Ming comes out of the pool and checks his phone, but before he sees the viral post, his friends push him back into the pool. Dao Ming gets angry and says, "Are you both crazy? You're adult now. Why are you pranking me?" Then he sees his phone fall into the water. At the same time, Shen Kai calls Thomas, but he is not answering. After that, Shen Kai sends him a voice message. "Why did you click that photo? To trap me." In the next scene, when Shen Kai comes to school, Dao Ming's friends say to her, "We saw the photo. What happened between you and Thomas?" Shen Kai says, "It's just a misunderstanding. I was at a party with my friends and I danced with that boy, but there was nothing between us." In the next scene, Shen Kai goes back home and calls Thomas again, but he still doesn't answer. She feels sad and looks at the comments on the post. The comments are like, "How can Dao Ming be in love with such a shameless girl? Do you like Dao Ming or Thomas? You've ruined the reputation of Mingde University." Seeing all this, Shen Kai starts crying. The next day, Shen Kai goes to school and says to herself, "Why am I feeling guilty? I did nothing wrong. I will not hide from anyone." With that, she goes inside. When she sits on her seat in the class, all the students stand up and move away from her. In the next scene, Shen Kai is playing basketball and a girl intentionally pushes her and makes her fall. Shen Kai feels bad. In the next scene, Han Zilu sees some information and says, "I don't think Thomas is in China. Maybe he went back to France." Shimen says, I think this photo was shared by a friend of Thomas. Who would want to ruin Shen Kai? Then they see Dao Ming coming and quickly close their laptops. Dao Ming asks, when will I get my phone back? Han Zilu says, it's being repaired. You don't have any class this afternoon, right? Dao Ming says, if I don't have class, can't I come with you? Why were you hiding and watching something? Shimen replies, we were watching a romantic movie. You don't like them, right? But Dao Ming says, I don't think you guys were watching a movie here. He grabs the laptop from them and opens it. He sees a photo of Shen Kai and Thomas. Then he remembers the scene in a flashback where Shen Kai told him that Thomas was asking for directions. Remembering this, he says to himself, they lied to me. He gets angry and leaves. Both of his friends follow him. In the next scene, we see Shen Kai with some girls who are carrying color. One of the girls trips, and the color falls on Shen Kai. They apologize to her and leaves. Dao Ming comes to Shen Kai and says, Thomas was not asking you for directions. You both went to a hotel, right? Shen Kai replies, no, nothing happened between us. It's just a misunderstanding. Dao Ming shouts, why did you lie to me? Shen Kai says, I don't care what people believe. Nobody believes me, but if you believe me, then I don't care about others. Dao Ming leaves without saying anything. In the next scene, we see Dao Ming standing alone drinking. His friends are drinking beside him. Shimen says, we've been sitting here for 3 hours. How much longer should we wait? Han Zilu says, until the mosquitoes drink all my blood. I guess I'm becoming a master in killing mosquitoes tonight. Then, Shimen says, Dao Ming likes that girl, and the whole school hates her now. After that, he shouts at Dao Ming, why are we suffering together when only one of us has a broken heart? Meiju is really lucky that he's not here. Hearing this, Dao Ming throws the wine bottle in anger. Shimen says, let's just drag him to his house. Then, they see Dao Ming is not there. They look around and see Dao Ming in the place where Shen Kai brought him an umbrella. Remembering all this, he sits down. Then, Li comes with the umbrella and says, Dao Ming, why are you sitting here? Dao Ming goes to her and kisses her. In the next scene, we see that Li brought him to her house, and he remembers a scene in a flashback. Dao Ming says to Shen Kai, why did you lie to me? You want me to trust you, but why did you lie to me? Now Dao Ming wakes up. He says to Li, how did I come here? Li replies, you drank too much last night, so I brought you here. Dao Ming tries to leave, but Li says, I made breakfast, have breakfast, and then you can leave. She tries to help him put on his shoes, but Dao Ming refuses. Li says, Dao Ming, are you really that angry with me? If you're not, then tell me why you hate me. Dao Ming says, I don't hate you, I just don't care about you. Li stops him and says, but I'm different from Shen Kai, we both belong to the same background. But why do you like Shen Kai? You never even noticed me. I know you like innocent girls like Shen Kai. She challenged you and you fell in love with her. I could do that too. She goes to him and hugs him. Dao Ming says, move your hand or I'll move it. Li says, if you want, I can be like Shen Kai. I'll do anything you want. Dao Ming pushes her away and says, stop comparing yourself to Shen Kai, she's not like you. Then he leaves. In the next scene, Shen Kai's friend Xiao Yu says to her, who posted that photo of you and how will you deal with this situation? Shen Kai replies, I did nothing wrong and I'm sure I will get justice. On the other hand, we see Dao Ming. He remembers a scene in a flashback where Shen Kai says, even if you bring me everything in the world, I won't like you. Then, he remembers another scene where Shen Kai said, if you believe me, I don't care about anyone else. He says to himself, what have I done? How could I do this to her? In the next scene, Shen Kai is walking back from tea shop when 2 boys see her and say, this girl looks familiar. The other boy says, this is the girl we saw in the street the other day. They try to grab Shen Kai and take her with them. Dao Ming sees them and goes to save her. They take her to a secluded place and try to bully her. Then one of the boys is about to slap her, but Dao Ming comes and catches his hand. He starts fighting with them, and the boys run away. Then Dao Ming goes to Shen Kai and says, sorry, I'm late. Shen Kai says, you believe me, right? Dao Ming hugs her. In the next scene, Dao Ming takes Shen Kai to his house and tries to apply medicine on her wounds. Shen Kai says, can you be a bit gentle? Dao Ming says, I'm just applying a bandage. Why do you think I'm trying to hurt you? Shen Kai asks, why did you go to my house and ask my mom where I work? Dao Ming replies, if I didn't go there, who would have saved you? Shen Kai says, you didn't have to tell them that I'm staying at your house. Dao Ming says, I saved you and brought you to my house, and you're complaining instead of saying thanks. Nothing happened between you and Thomas, right? Shen Kai says, you idiot! I don't even know him properly. What do I have to do with him? By the way, why were you so angry? Are you jealous? Dao Ming says in anger, yes, I'm jealous. He goes to leave, and Shen Kai falls on the bed. Dao-ming says, because I like you. He kisses her. Shen Kai gets up and leaves. She goes to the bathroom and says to herself, I can't believe Dao-ming likes me, and why didn't I stop him from kissing me? What's wrong with me? At the same time, Dao-ming is also thinking about her and smiling. He checks his phone and then goes to Shen Kai and says, come with me. He takes her to a place and Shen Kai asks, why did you bring me here? Dao-ming replies, this is the person who posted your photo. You see for yourself. Lee opens the door and sees them. She says, what are you all doing here? Come inside. Shimen says, why are you pretending to be innocent? Shen Kai replies, Lee is not the one who posted my photo. Han Zilu says, we got information about the user who posted that photo and it was you. Tell us why you did this. Lee says, okay, I admit it, I posted the photo. Shen Kai says, so you were the one who sent me to Thomas? Where did you get the photo? Lee tells her that Thomas invited her to dance and he was interested in her. Then, we see that Shen Kai was unconscious at that time. Lee goes to Thomas and says, I have something important to do. I have to leave. Can you take care of my friend? Also, send me a photo of her with you so I can confirm she's safe. Thomas agrees. In the next scene, Lee receives a message from Thomas. He says, I sent your friend to a safe hotel. He also sent a photo of Shen Kai with him. Lee tells Shen Kai, the next day Thomas came to meet you and you were acting friendly to each other. Dao-ming saw you both and felt jealous. That's why I posted that photo. Shen Kai says, but we were good friends. Lee says, good friends? I'm sorry, but this friendship was a burden to me. When you went on a trip, did you even think about me? You lied to me and invited me to Tenxing party, and then you didn't answer my calls and embarrassed me. You know how expensive the dress I wore for Tenxing's birthday party? It was 3 times my monthly income. I was standing outside the house, but I wasn't allowed to go inside. You all were having fun inside. Did you think about how I felt? Shen Kai says, if you felt bad, why didn't you tell me? Lee replies, because I have self-respect too. When I went home that day, I realized that no matter how hard I try to make others happy, I still need to learn how to pretend to be innocent. Shen Kai says, even if all this is true, you shouldn't have defamed me. Lee replies, I wanted you to feel how it feels when people hate you. Shen Kai says, I can't believe you would think this way about me. You don't deserve to be my friend. Lee says, I don't need a friend like you either, and leaves. In the next scene, Lee is in class. All her classmates know that she spread rumors about Shen Kai, so they are all giving her the cold shoulder. Then, the teacher comes and says, I'm going to remind you that you all have to submit your group report this month. Xin Hui says, Professor, can we switch groups? We can't work with a liar. Lee feels really bad when she hears this. Then, Shen Kai stands up and tells the teacher that Lee spread a false rumor about her. She says, because of this, I've had a lot of trouble. I went to a club with some of my classmates, but Lee asked Thomas to take care of me. He took me to a hotel, and to prove I was safe, he sent her a photo. But Lee mistakenly posted the photo, which led to a misunderstanding. But we are still best friends. Lee is really happy when she hears this. After class, Lee goes to Shen Kai and says, I did something wrong to you, but why are you still standing up for me? Shen Kai says, because I know you. Remember when we first met in college? We said we would be friends for 4 years. Then, she hugs Lee. Dao-ming sees all this from behind. He goes to Shen Kai and says, give me your phone. Shen Kai gives him her phone. He gives her a new phone in return. Shen Kai says, are you an idiot? I don't want this phone. Give me my phone back. She tries to grab the phone from him, but Dao-ming says, if you don't take the new phone, I'll break your mom's phone. Shen Kai says, how do you know that's my mom's phone? Dao-ming says, your mom added me on WeChat and asked me to take care of you. They both start arguing and then they see Meiju coming back. Shen Kai and Meiju smile at each other when they see each other. Seeing this, Dao-ming feels jealous and says, Shen Kai is my girlfriend now. He leaves with his friends. In the next scene, Shen Kai's parents tell her that Dao-ming sent them a lot of stuff. Shen Kai calls Dao-ming. Dao-ming says, did you like it? Shen Kai says, not at all. Our house is already small and you sent so much stuff that there is no place to move around. I don't want to talk to you. Dao-ming says, if you don't want to talk to me, then let's meet tonight. I'll send my driver to pick you up. In the next scene, Shen Kai arrives for dinner with them. Seeing her, Dao-ming gets angry and says, are you a tortoise? Why did you take so long to come? Shen Kai says, what does it matter to you when I come? At that time, Meiju comes with a girl and introduces her as Kiki. Meiju sits at another table with Kiki and they both kiss each other. Seeing this, Shimen says, I don't know what happened to Meiju in Paris, but he has completely changed. Shen Kai leaves and tells Dao-ming, I just came to tell you to get rid of all that stuff from my house. Otherwise, I'll throw it out myself. She leaves. She says to herself, Meiju has changed so much. What happened between him and Tanxing? In the next scene, She goes to the terrace where Meiju is sitting. She says to herself, he's still sitting on the terrace just like before. It means he hasn't changed. When she goes to him, Meiju asks her, are you dating Dao Ming? Shen Kai says, no, I'll never say yes to him. Meiju says, then become my girlfriend. Am I not better than Dao Ming? Shen Kai is shocked and says, are you the same Meiju? Meiju says, I was just joking. You really believed me? How can I betray my friend's girlfriend? You're upset, so why don't we date each other behind Dao Ming's back? Shen Kai doesn't say anything. Meiju says, you believed me again. Shen Kai leaves for class. After school, Shen Kai is going home, but Dao Ming asks her to go with him. Shen Kai says, I have to go to work. I'm not free like you. Dao Ming pulls her and takes her with him. In the next scene, they are at the airport. Dao Ming tells her that they are going on a trip. Shen Kai says, I never agreed to this and I didn't even tell my parents. Dao Ming says, I've already taken permission from them. You don't have any classes this weekend. Everyone is waiting for us. Then, they go on the trip. In the next scene, they reach the island. Meiju asks Kiki, where do you want to go? Kiki says, wherever you want to go. Dao Ming goes to Shen Kai and says, who told you to look at another man? Shen Kai says, what does it matter to you? Are you jealous again? Shen Kai goes to her hotel room from where she can see the ocean. Dao Ming comes to her and says, you like it? This is the best room in the hotel, and we'll stay here together. Shen Kai is shocked and says, what do you mean we will stay in the same room? Dao Ming says, even though we are in the same room, we'll have separate beds. Shen Kai goes out to eat. In the next scene, she's going to sleep. Dao Ming comes out of the shower. Shen Kai hides under the blanket. Seeing this, Dao Ming says, I know I'm handsome, but why are you staring at me like that? Shen Kai says, who's staring at you? Dao Ming sits on the bed and Shen Kai says, you were sleeping on another bed, right? Dao Ming goes to her and says, so I can't even sit here for a while? Yes, it's true, I like you, but until you like me, I won't do anything. I'll never touch a girl without her permission. He goes to his bed. Shen Kai goes to him and says, I think your feet are long. You should sleep on that bed. Dao Ming says, I don't need that, just tell me you like me. I can't wait anymore. By the way, do you want to sleep on this small bed with me? Hearing this, she runs to her bed. In the middle of the night, Shen Kai wakes up. She goes out and sees Meiju sitting alone. She goes to him and says, Meiju, what's wrong with you? You've been like this since you came back. Is this because of Tanxing? Meiju puts his head on her shoulder and says, just let me stay like this for 5 minutes. I'm better during the day, but I can't deal with the nights. Can you hug me? Shen Kai says, why didn't you hug that girl who was with you? Meiju says, I don't touch girls I don't know. Shen Kai hugs him. She says to herself, I've realized I'll never give up on Meiju. Then Meiju says, I think I don't need this hug. He tells her that he was living with Tanxing in Paris for a while. He says, we used to live together when we were free. It was the best time of our lives, but it didn't last long. She went to school during the day, and I was alone all day. She came back at night, but she was exhausted. I'm sorry why I'm telling you all this, but thank you for listening. On the other hand, Dao Ming is searching for Shen Kai with his friends. Shen Kai comes in front of him and says, I couldn't sleep, so I went for a walk. Dao Ming says, okay, but if you do this again, Shen Kai says, so what? His friends tell him, you know what Dao Ming did? He thought you drowned in the sea. That's why he was searching for you. Dao Ming pulls Shen Kai inside. In the next scene, they are all together. Kiki is telling some girls, you know Meiju didn't come to the room last night. I think he must have met his girlfriend. Dao Ming remembers that Shen Kai wasn't in the room last night too. He goes to Meiju and asks, did you see Shen Kai in the middle of the night last night? Meiju says, yes, she came for a walk and we talked for a while. Han Zilu sees a news article which says that Tanxing is in love with the mayor of Paris and they are going to get married soon. Meiju doesn't react to this news. Dao Ming says, did you know about this already? Meiju says, yes, this is big news in Paris. His friend says, do you care that Tanxing is getting married to someone else? Meiju says, why should I care? It's all over now. Shen Kai thinks to herself, this is why Meiju has changed so much. He must be heartbroken about Tanxing's marriage. Shen Kai wakes up in the middle of the night and goes out. She sees Meiju sitting on the beach. She goes to him and asks, are you all right? Meiju says, I want to know if I'll ever be all right. Shen Kai says, yes, you will be fine because you're a talented person. Tears come out from her eyes. Meiju says, why are you crying? I'm perfectly fine. Go back to your room, don't worry about me. Shen Kai cries and says, I don't know. I can't stop myself from thinking about you. I always think about what happened between you and Tanxing. Why can't you be happy? He wipes her tears and thinks to himself, I wish I loved you. He goes to kiss her, but Dao Ming sees this and gets very angry. He goes to Meiju and punches him. He tries to leave, but Shen Kai catches his hand and says, Let me explain. What you saw didn't happen. Dao Ming says in anger, don't touch me. I always liked you, but what about you? Now just pretend we don't know each other. Meiju tries to say something, but Dao Ming says, you have no right to talk to me. Dao Ming leaves. In the next scene, they are all going back to China. Dao Ming left before everyone else. Shen Kai is in her room listening to a voice message Dao Ming sends her before. She thinks to herself, Dao Ming always took care of me, but I still hurt him. Maybe he hates me now, but I don't love him either. Maybe this is for the best. In the next scene, Meiju is at school and his friends come to him and say, you know Dao Ming really likes Shen Kai. So, are you really dating her? Has losing Tan Xing driven you mad? Why don't you date any other girl? You know Shen Kai is Dao Ming's girlfriend, right? Dao Ming was also listening. He goes to Meiju and says, our friendship is over. From today. One of his friends says, are you really breaking your friendship over a girl? Dao Ming says, it's not me. Meiju ended the friendship. He leaves. Shen Tai comes out of class and looks at Dao Ming, but he turns away when he sees her. Meiju is sitting alone on the roof. Shen Kai goes to him and gives him snacks. She sees Meiju has drawn something. Shen Kai says, this is Dao Ming, but something is missing. She fixes his eyebrows and says, he is angry right now. She draws a tear for him, but then she erases it and says to Meiju, I'm sorry. If I wasn't on the beach that day, so this wouldn't have happened, and you and Dao Ming would still be friends. Meiju goes to her and says, I kissed you because I wanted to. It's not your fault. Let's go on a date this Sunday. In the next scene, Shen Kai is on a date with Meiju. She thinks to herself, this is so awkward. Meiju isn't saying anything. Do I need to find a topic to talk about? She remembers that Tan Xing's poster was in that place. She says to Meiju, remember, Tan Xing's poster was here before and you were looking at it. Meiju says, Shen Kai, please don't talk about Tan Xing. She thinks to herself, I am such an idiot. I shouldn't have brought Tan Xing in the middle of this. Then Meiju says, this is the first time I'm actually dating a girl, but I'm feeling a little bored. I think I feel good only with F4. Shen Kai says, yes, but you should make new friends. In the next scene, they both go to a restaurant. Shen Kai ordered spicy food, which Meiju didn't like. She also finds it spicy and drinks a lot of water. Meiju says, that water was for washing hands, but it's fine. You can use mine. In the next scene, Shen Kai takes off her jacket. She remembers that Dao Ming gave her the jacket as a gift. She says to herself, no, I only like Meiju, not Dao Ming. In the next scene, Shen Tai is going to school when she sees a man about to hit a woman with his bicycle. She tries to save her, but they both collide. Shen Kai gets angry at him and says, you hit her, take her to the hospital. He refuses S&D about to slap her, but then a lady comes and catches his hand. The man gets scared and takes the woman to the hospital. The lady sees Shen Kai is hurt and asks her to go home with her. In the next scene, Shen Kai is in a house. She thinks to herself, why did this lady bring me to Dao Ming's house? If Dao Ming finds me here, it will be a mess. She tries to leave, but the lady stops her and says, you can call me Miss Jiang. Shen Tai thinks to herself, this must be Dao Ming's elder sister. Then the butler comes and recognizes Shen Kai. Jiang asks, do you know her? The butler says, yes, Dao Ming and she study in the same school. Jiang says, okay, call Dao Ming so she doesn't feel awkward. Shen Kai says, no, Miss Jang, I suddenly remembered I have some work. Jang says, why aren't you listening to my orders? In the next scene, Shen Kai tries to escape, but bumps into Dao Ming. Dao Ming asks her, what are you doing here? Shen Kai says, it was just a coincidence. Dao Ming says, did you come here to praise your new boyfriend in front of me? Shen Kai says, he's not my boyfriend. Dao Ming pins her against the wall and says angrily, stop pretending. What do you think you are? I already warned you. Dao Ming sees Shen Kai's injury on her hand, and his sister comes and kicks him. She says, do you treat girls this way? You're ruining our family's reputation. Dao Ming says to Jiang, when did you come back? Jiang says, what does it matter to you? You don't even miss me. Dao Ming says, I video call you all the time. Then Jiang takes Shen Tai to apply medicine on her wound. She puts a bandage on it and asks her to have dinner with them. In the next scene, they are having dinner. The butler tells Jiang that Dao Ming said he has to submit a report at school, so he left. Jiang says, so he doesn't want to have dinner with me? Let him come home, I'll beat him up. She asks Shen Kai to have a drink with her. She drinks a lot. Then Dao Ming comes there. Shen Kai is drunk and says to Jiang, I need to tell you something. Actually, I went on a trip with Dao Ming a few days ago, and I hurt him. Because of me, his friendship with Meiju ended. He is angry with me because of this. I'm responsible for all of this, so I feel really bad. I can't see Dao Ming sad and hurt. Then she faints. Dao Ming hears this and says, this stupid girl, she doesn't know she can't drink so much. Jiang says, is she your girlfriend? Dao Ming says, no, just a schoolmate. Jang tells him about the bicycle accident. Dao Ming says, she is such a looser woman. She always has to help others. Jang kicks him and asks him to take Shen Kai to the guest room. Dao Ming says, why should I take her? Jiang says, do what I said. She leaves. Dao Ming takes Shen Kai to the guest room. In the next scene, Jiang gives Shen Kai hangover soup and says, you should think about Dao Ming. You're the first girl he has brought home. You must feel he's a playboy, but actually he doesn't know much about love. He has never made anyone his friend except F4. He's actually a kind person. The next day, Meiju and Shen Kai go to talk to Dao Ming. Dao Ming's friends say to him, how long will you continue this? We can't disband F4 like this. Then Chen comes there and says to Shen Kai, I brought some bananas from home. He then sees F4 and says, I didn't bring extra for you guys. Dao Ming says, who said F4 is going to disband? Chen will be the new member of F4. Chen gets happy and says, Shen Kai, did you hear that? I'll be a member of F4 from now on. Dao Ming says, if you want to be a member of F4, then stop talking to these two. Chen says, that's impossible. Shen Kai is my best friend, and she is also a friend of F4. Dao Ming gets angry and goes to them and says, I'll do anything to make you both suffer together. One of his friends says, Dao Ming, if you continue doing this, then our friendship will be over. Dao Ming says, I don't care. It's all Meiju's fault. Meiju says, okay, just deal with me alone. Dao Ming agrees and leaves. But then Shen Kai goes to him and says, I have two things to say. It's all my fault. If you can't forgive me, it's fine, but I'll still apologize. She bows down and says, you and Meiju have been friends since childhood. Don't end your friendship because of me. Dao Ming says, have you ever apologized to me before? And now you're apologizing for Meiju. Do you care so much for him? He throws a joker card on Meiju and leaves. In the next scene, Chen arrives with F4. He's about to sit on Meiju's seat, but Shimen stops him. Dao Ming says, Meiju is not a part of the group anymore, so Chen will take his seat. Chen sits there. Dao Ming's friends say, Dao Ming, how can you do this to Meiju? Dao Ming says, you know that Meiju only likes Tan Xing, but Tan Xing is getting married, so he is using Shen Kai to make him forget. That stupid girl can't even understand this. You guys are also supporting this selfish boy. He leaves angrily. Shen Kai goes to Jiang's house to meet her. She tells her that Dao Ming gave her and Meiju a joker card. She asks Jiang to help her change Dao Ming's mind. Jiang says, only you can change his mind. When she comes out, she sees Dao Ming there. She says, don't think I'm scared of you. I've made up my mind. I'll team up with Meiju and defeat you in a poker game. Dao Ming doesn't reply. Shen Kai says, why aren't you saying anything? Dao Ming suddenly goes to her and hugs her. He says, just tell me you like me, and I'll end my rivalry with Meiju. Just say it once. Shen Kai pushes him away and asks him to be quiet. Dao Ming says, do you hate me that much? Can't you be friend with me? Shen Kai doesn't reply. Dao Ming says, I'm so stupid. I don't know why I like you. You're so old-fashioned and ugly. You don't have a good figure or brains, but you challenged me, so don't regret it. He leaves. In the next scene, Dao Ming is waiting for them to play a game. Chen says, if you make Shen Kai leave college, I'll leave F4 too. Dao Ming says, do you even know what you're saying? Chen says, I know being part of F4 is cool, but if you bullied Shen Kai, you'll become our enemy. Han Zilu says, you're not that important to her. She doesn't even like you. Chen says, I don't care. I like Shen Kai. She may not like me, but I will always take care of her. And Dao Ming, if you really like her, then treat her well. Your only goal should be to make her happy. Shen Kai coming towards F4's studio. She is very nervous. Meiju holds her hand and takes her inside. Seeing this, Dao Ming gets upset and says, are you guys planning to play a game holding hands? They both let go of each other's hands. They go to play the game. Dao Ming says, if I win, then. Meiju says, then I'll never see Shen Kai again. Then they start playing the game. Shen Kai is playing really well. Dao Ming says, I'll never let you win. Shen Kai replies, we both won't lose. Dao Ming says, I'll make you both disappear from this school. They continue playing the game. There's only one card left. Shen Kai puts her card down. She feels like she's going to lose, but she sees Meiju smiling. Seeing him smile for the first time, she feels happy. The last card that needed to be put down was Dao Ming's, but he was thinking about something. Then Shen Kai says, put your card down. If I lose, I'll leave the college. Dao Ming leaves the game. Shen Kai says happily, we won. He was going to lose, that's why he left the game. But Meiju says, no, his card was better than yours? Shen Kai says, but if he was going to win, why did he leave the game? In the next scene, Dao Ming is standing on a street. A drunk man bumps into him. The man says, Where are you going? Can't you hear? Talking to deaf people is so painful. You should be thankful I'm lazy. He tries to leave, but Dao Ming catches him and says angrily, What did you say? You said Meiju's name? The man says, No, I said lazy. You must have misheard. Dao Ming says, How can I be sad because of a girl? He lets the man go. On the other hand, they are all celebrating at Jang's house and playing games. Meiju says, I have to talk to Shen Kai alone. Then they both go to a room. Shen Kai asks, What do you want to talk about? Meiju says, I just want to talk to you alone. Should we choose a topic? Shen Kai says, Let's talk about our graduation trip. I went to the island. Where did you go? Meiju sits down next to her. Shen Kai feels nervous when she sees him so close. She says, Why are you staring at me? Meiju says, You look very ugly. I'm just kidding. But you are really very simple. Before I didn't understand why Dao Ming liked you, but now I understand. Shen Kai asks, What do you understand? Meiju says, I don't know how I feel about you. Jimen told me that I'm using you to forget Tanxing, and that could be true. Shen Kai says, It's fine. I know how special Tanxing was to you. Then, Meiju remembers a scene in a flashback. Tanxing comes to him and says, Where did you go? You know, I hurt my feet searching for you. Don't hide from me again. Then, he sees a drawing where he has drawn Tanxing. Tanxing says, I love it. Remembering all this, Meiju says, When I was young, everyone said my paintings were very ugly. I don't know if I'll ever be able to fall in love with anyone again, but I really like you. But I know this isn't love. I'm sorry. If I hadn't come back, you would be with Dao Ming right now. Shen Kai says, You don't need to apologize. If you hadn't come back, how would I know how much you've changed? I'm very happy, and I want to always be your friend. Meiju kisses her on her forehead and says, Thank you for understanding. In the next scene, Dao Ming comes back home. The butler tells him, Shen Kai and all your friends are here to have some fun. Dao Ming says, How dare she come here? He hears his friends talking to Jang. They were saying that Meiju and Shen Kai must be doing something in the room. If Dao Ming catches them together, then Dao Ming goes to them and asks, What are you talking about? Jiang says, Shen Kai and Meiju are in the bedroom. If you're a real man, you should be happy for them. Dao Ming smiles and says, I've never seen this side of Meiju before, but I'm happy for him. Jiang says, So you gave up on Shen Kai? The next morning, Shen Kai wakes up and sees Meiju. She says, Thanks for telling me everything last night. It's true that there's no comparison to Tanxing, but it doesn't matter. Dao Ming is standing silently. Shi Men goes to him and asks, What are you doing here so early in the morning? Dao Ming says, Shi Men, remember I took Meiju's favorite toy. I loved his Spider-Man a lot. I could have asked my dad to bring it from the US for me, but Meiju didn't want me to take it. I had to have that toy, so I made a huge mistake. I broke his Spider-Man. That night I couldn't sleep. I thought he would be angry at me the next morning. That's why I planned to bully him together with you guys, but then I realized I can't beat him up. Meiju forgot about this incident, but I feels guilty till this day. Dao Ming says, I think it's time to fix everything. Shi Men asks, Are you talking about Shen Kai? Dao Ming says, Yes, I don't want to bother her anymore. He leaves. In the next scene, Shen Kai moves with her parents to a new house which is bigger than their old house and also near her school. She's going to school on a call with her mom when she bumps into Dao Ming. Dao Ming says, You left your books at my house. You should carry your brains with you. You're always absent-minded. Now aren't you going to thank me? Shen Kai thanks him. Dao Ming leaves. She says to herself, Why is he so normal all of a sudden? He should ignore me. In the next scene, she sees a restaurant advertisement. The restaurant is near her school and they need a kitchen assistant. Then Shen Kai goes to the restaurant for a part-time job and enters the kitchen. A chef asks her, Who are you? Shen Kai says, I came here to apply for a kitchen assistant job. The chef says, We are short of staff. Quickly peel potatoes. Shen Kai starts working. This part ends here. If you would like to see the next part, please let us know in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel to stay updated with our latest uploads.